Filmmaker Guillermo del Toro has often proclaimed his love for monsters. He identifies with them and has claimed that they are the ultimate outcasts. Scary monsters speak to a primal part of humans, whether we get scared by them or identify with them. So today, let us learn about 12 of the most terrifying monsters ever seen in TV series and movies that are from a different dimension or planet. But before we proceed, you know the drill. Check to make sure you have subscribed and tap on the bell to make sure you never miss an update from Marvelous videos. Vecna from Stranger Things. Set in a small town called Hawkins in the 1980s, Stranger Things is a beloved sci-fi show created by the Duffer Brothers. The big bad of the show was finally introduced in the premiere of Season 4 when we all got to see Vecna, played by Jamie Campbell Bower. Inspired by iconic bald villains like Voldemort, Pennywise, and Pinhead, Vecna is loosely based on the Dungeons & Dragons character of the same name. Vecna's story begins as a simple boy named Henry Creel who moved to Hawkins in 1959 and began discovering his psychic abilities. A malicious entity in his new home encouraged him to develop his powers, and he ended up killing his mother and sister. Dr. Martin Brenner took an interest in him and imprisoned him in the Hawkins National Laboratory by implanting a soteria in his neck, which not only tracked his movements, but also dimmed his powers. Brenner duplicated Henry's powers in other child test subjects. In 1979, Henry convinced Eleven to remove the chip immediately after which he slaughtered everyone around. Before he could kill Eleven, she overpowered him and sent him to an alternate dimension, which we now know as the Upside Down. There he met the Mind Flayer and became his footman, eventually transforming into Vecna, a terrifying creature with no nose and huge talons. Vecna is incredibly powerful and can manipulate his victims' minds to use their fears against them. Thanks to his transformation in the Upside Down, he can heal from fatal wounds. The Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing. A hostile parasitic extraterrestrial creature, the Thing can take on the form of any and all earthly beings. Once it comes into contact with any living organism on Earth, it begins eating and replicating the cells to replace them completely. It can duplicate everything from their memories and mannerisms to their limp or weak heart. The alien's intelligence is directly proportional to its size, so if it is replicating a small creature, its intelligence will be somewhat low. And if it's replicating a large creature, it will be very smart. The only telltale sign that your friend is now the Thing is if he is suddenly missing any of his piercings or tooth caps, as the alien can't replicate inorganic material. You can also test their blood out, as the blood from the Thing crawls away due to external threats like a hot needle. This chameleon-like monster was first introduced in the 1938 novella Who Goes There, written by John W. Campbell Jr. Later, Bill Lancaster wrote a screenplay inspired by the novella titled The Thing, which was directed by John Carpenter in 1982. Cthulhu from Underwater. Tapping into the fear of the unknown, the 2020 movie Underwater, directed by William Eubank, explores the unseen creatures residing 7 miles below the ocean surface. In 2050, things go terribly wrong at the Kepler 822, a research and drilling facility situated at the Mariana Trench, after a particularly nasty earthquake destroys it, and the researchers of the facility are forced to battle the hostile creatures of the sea. In the end, a gigantic creature attacks and kills most of the employees in the facility, except the lucky 2 who manage to escape. Nora, the protagonist, sacrifices herself and sets off the reactors in the drilling station, hoping that the explosion kills the humongous creature. As TN Industries, the owner of the station, suppressed all survivor testimonies, we have no idea whether the gigantic terror died or still roams the ocean bed. The creature is gigantic, grotesque, and has a head that resembles an octopus. With 4 eyes and a beard of tentacles, the creature is enough to make the strongest of people shudder. Though the creature has no name in the movie, director Eubank confirmed its name to be Cthulhu. If you are a fan of cosmic horror, there is no chance you have not heard about Cthulhu, the entity created by H.P. Lovecraft for his short story, The Call of Cthulhu. Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise. Arguably, Sigourney Weaver's most iconic role is as Ellen Ripley in the 1979 Ridley Scott movie Alien. That is not the only iconic character in the movie though, as it also has Xenomorphs, the deadly aliens who are also known as Internevicus raptus and Plagiaris praepotens. The perfect killing machines, Xenomorphs have a nearly impenetrable silver exoskeleton made of protein polysaccharides. They are around 7 feet tall and weigh anywhere between 140 to 180 kilos. They have 2 jaws. The outer jaw has sharp teeth, while the inner jaw houses an attack tongue that can punch through hard substances like human bone. Their elongated, shiny head has tiny eyes that are not easily recognizable as they are the same size as their head. Xenomorphs are not smart toolmakers, but are primal and predatory. Their only goal is to save their species, and they will do this by any means necessary. Their reproductive process is quite traumatic as they lay their eggs in living hosts and their offspring bursts out of the hosts, leaving them for dead. H.R. Giger, the Swiss surrealist, is credited with the futuristic look of the aliens. In the movie, Lieutenant Gorman referred generally to all aliens as xenomorphs, but fans misunderstood and assigned the name to this particular creature. The Creeper from the Jeepers Creepers franchise. The Creeper is an ancient demonic entity that has existed in our world since man began to walk upright. A good historian can find him in key moments of history, as the Aztecs believed that he was their serpent god, Quetzalcoatl, while the Cherokee called him the Yuctina, a dark creature they tried to appease to maintain peace. He is the reason the Roanoke colonists disappeared in the 1580s, and he was the one who started the mine fire in 1962 Pennsylvania. The Creeper sleeps for every 23 years and wakes up to feed on people for 23 days before repeating the cycle. This humanoid creature has talons for feet and has 3 nostrils. A hood-like appendage can be seen behind his head, which expands whenever he is agitated or scared. He has bat-like wings, which he usually hides behind a long coat. Though we don't know how, he managed to get his hands on a custom license plate that reads, "Beating You." He has a messed up sense of aesthetic as he sews up bodies and organs to make art and displays it around his house. The Creeper can smell fear, quite literally, and depends on it to hunt. Jonathan Breck plays this unique serial killer in the first 3 films, while Jero Benjamin portrays him in the 4th. Shoggoth from Lovecraft Country. Did you really think we are going to talk about cosmic monsters and mention Lovecraft only once? Another cosmic nightmare coming right at you is Shoggoth, a muscular blob-like creature featured in the 2020 show Lovecraft Country. Though inspired by Lovecraft, the writer had a much different idea regarding Shoggoth, as he described it as a sentient amoeba-like creature made of shiny black smile that had many eyes floating on its surface in the 1931 novella At the Mountains of Madness. Though Lovecraft's description sounds more horrifying, don't worry. Shoggoths in their TV rendition are not lovable either. With an unhinged jaw equipped with 4,000 razor-sharp teeth, their mouths can liquidize the bodies of their victims. They have 3 pairs of legs, with each customized for a different action. Their forelegs mainly help them run at high speeds. Their muscular hind legs have big shovel-like claws that help them dig, and their middle pair is thin and lanky with claws to help them hunt. If that doesn't scare the bejesus out of you, take a look at their needle-like tail that reminds you of depictions of Lucifer himself. You are free of this terror during the day as they are weakened by light. If you have any chance of encountering them, be armed with some flashlights. Motor or Jotun from The Ritual. Adam Neville's 2011 novel The Ritual was adapted into a horror film by David Bruckner in 2017 and unleashed the horror of the Motor into the hearts of several viewers. Motor is a bastard child of the Norse god Loki and is a rival of the Asgardian gods. She looks like an elk but has bright yellow eyes and human bands on her skeletal head. Roaming the forests by the Kungsleden path of Sweden, she preys on the hikers who make the mistake of entering her forest. The person with the most emotional pain gets marked, and he gets to make a choice, either to worship Motor for the rest of his life or suffer from her hands. The unmarked people are hunted down by her cult, tortured and murdered. This creature has been around for centuries, and that is how she has so many members in her cult who were all once hikers who decided to enter the forest. It's not all doom for the cultists though, as they are given immortal life and protection by Motor. 4 friends, Hutch, Luke, Phil, and Dom, decide to hike the Kungsleden in honor of their dead friend Rob. When they make the mistake of entering the forest, Luke is marked and his friends are killed one by one. Luke outsmarts the cultists and sets their elders on fire. The angry Motor kills the cultist for allowing it to happen and chases Luke, who ekes out onto the trail again. As the Jotun can't leave the forest, she snarls at him and is left to rebuild her cult. Ogdu Jiad from Hellboy. If monsters are involved, always expect to find a Guillermo del Toro mention. The next cosmic monsters are the Ogdu Jiad from the 2004 film Hellboy, directed by none other than del Toro. These 7 gods of chaos were created by Mike Mignola for the Hellboy comic series, and their movie iteration has been based on the same. Inspired by the great old ones of Lovecraftian mythos, the 7 gods are Adad, Amon, Bo, Namrat, Ira, Nergal, and Nun. Prior to the events of the movie, some unknown force trapped the Chaos Gods in a crystal prison in outer space, but these cosmic entities continue to influence humans through telepathic conversations. They recruited Grigory Rasputin, who became their ardent devotee. Rasputin tried to bring them back using the help of Nazis, but he only managed to get the key to their prison, the right hand of doom, into the mortal world. The key grew up to be Hellboy, and after Rasputin was resurrected by some of his Nazi friends, he lured Hellboy to open the prison. Unfortunately, John Myers, a BPRD agent, interfered and destroyed their plans, making Hellboy realize the folly of his ways. Though we don't get a clear look at them in the movies, the comics show them to be eel-like creatures with a serpentine body and forearms. The Midnight Entity from the Doctor Who franchise. The longest-running sci-fi TV series of all time, Doctor Who, has introduced many futuristic and cosmic villains in its decades-long run. One of the creepiest creatures the Doctor has ever encountered is the unidentified entity on the planet called Midnight. A common belief is that no life can survive on Midnight's surface, as it is constantly bombarded with X-tonic rays and galvanic radiation, but the creature claimed that he had been waiting so long in the cold of the Midnight. It was first encountered by the 10th Doctor, who was aboard the Crusader 50, a shuttle bus. 400,000 years later, the 15th Doctor encountered it once again. Though many have seen the Midnight Entity in the 15th Doctor too, has noticed it having a dark grey head and a quadruped stance. He described it as having no name, no self, and no face. You might have observed that we have been switching between the he and it pronouns, and it is deliberate as well because the entity uses both pronouns to describe itself. The entity can possess people and eventually turn its host insane. With its unparalleled psychic powers, it can painfully kill people and read anyone's memories instantly, but it cannot leave the planet on its own, and mirrors are its weakness. The Behemoth from the Mist. A creature out of the imagination of the maestro and king of horror himself, Stephen King, is the Behemoth from the 2007 cosmic horror flick The Mist. The Mist is about Bridington, Maine, a small town that is enveloped by a mysterious mist that unleashes Lovecraftian creatures. One of the biggest and scariest creatures released is Behemoth, an apt name considering that the creature is around 240 feet in height, with each of its legs measuring up to 111 feet long. It is also called the impossibly tall creature. As it walks, the earth shakes violently. It has 6 legs, many tentacles, and appendages. In the novel, the legs of the Behemoth are attached with hundreds of scorpion flies, and it leaves footprints as big as SUVs. Though the appearance of the creature is nightmare-inducing, the Behemoth does not appear to be hostile and does not harm a soul.
Welcome, my dear.
The Pretorius creature from the movie From Beyond. We have another addition for the Lovecraft fans. Stuart Gordon's From Beyond is the 1986 adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's short story of the same name. The movie revolves around Dr. Edward Pretorius, a scientist who developed a machine called the Resonator, which helps humans see beyond mortally perceptible reality. As wise men sat, there is no genius without madness, and Dr. Pretorius, consumed by his need for knowledge, turns on the machine and goes insane. The machine soon malfunctions and decapitates the inventor. Though Dr. Pretorius lost his corporeal form, he was very much alive in the reality that we humans can't see. His ascension altered and expanded his consciousness, and he began to enjoy a reality far more pleasurable than ours. The creature appears to be humanoid with pink and slimy skin, short stubby fingers, and a weird hunchback. He develops a hunger for brains and wreaks havoc on his assistant, Dr. Crawford Tillinghast, and his psychiatrist, Dr. Catherine McMichaels, who arrives to verify Crawford's claims. After he decapitates Crawford, Catherine places a bomb on the resonator and escapes, ending the terror of the Pretorius creature once and forever. Ted Sorrell magnificently portrays the creature in the movie. It's Papalotl from No One Gets Out Alive. Another bizarre and scary novel by Adam Neville is No One Gets Out Alive, which was adapted into a movie in 2021 and tells the story of It's Papalotl, a creature borrowed from Aztec mythology that demands human sacrifices from her worshippers and grants them health and prosperity. Red and Becker, two brothers, sacrifice innocent immigrant woman to the cosmic beast after their father discovered her decades ago. Ambar, the protagonist, discovers a sketch of the cosmic entity when she sneaks into their father's office, and it shows the butterfly wings of the entity as she emerges from a stone box to consume its prey. It's Papalotl in Aztec mythology means obsidian butterfly, and she is a striking warrior, the goddess of death, and the ruler of the paradise where dead infants reach. But she takes on a different role in the movie where she likes to feed on humans. She heals the people who offer sacrifices to her. One of her eeriest powers is her ability to implant false memories to weaken her victims, and when their guards are lowered, she eats them. Marvelous verdict. These were all the scariest cosmic entities according to us. Did we leave out any of your favorites? Which one of these entities do you think is the scariest? Our bet is on Cthulhu, as it is probably alive and well. Let us know your answers in the comments below. If you liked the video, please tap on that thumbs up and encourage us. We will be back soon with more awesome content, but until then, take care and goodbye.